Hello, Renee Flamand here. As you know, because tell you all the time, especially if you've been with me a long time, you know that I like to explain things to you that I maybe took the long road in finding out in order to save you the time, the agony, the effort. If I can tell you, hey, this means this and watch out for that, and boom, it happens to you and you go, whoa, then I've done my job, right? This is one of those topics, and we have a lot of new people coming in, and if you read the comments like I do every day, you'll see that, and they might be going through this phone business right now. And I wanted to reiterate some points because some people don't know what's coming. Now, if you've already been through it, we need this reiteration all the time anyway, just because it's entertaining to think of the lengths the narcissist will go to prevent you from knowing what's going on in their phone. And they have, and I say this really carefully to the new people, they have very manipulative, cunning ways in which they can do this. And I haven't talked about this topic in a long, long time, but I have mentioned the phone inherent, but it's important to revisit this topic. They can be extremely charming in the way that they might offer you their phone. Or say, honey, I'll give you the passcode to my phone. I have nothing to hide. Or here's my phone. Look at it every single day, every night. I won't have a phone. I got told that once. Hilarious. They may hand you their phone, give you their passcode, not even use their phone for a month or so, whatever. Here's the thing. There are 8 million ways from Sunday that even if giving you the phone, they can be doing things behind your back. If they give you their phone, it doesn't mean a thing. And when I say it doesn't mean a thing, I mean if they give you their phone, it means nothing. I promise you. That was a move mine had. A lot. Tried it a lot. Here's your phone. And I got swept up in it. And that's the part that bothers me the most. That's not my thing. I don't think people should do that to each other. Even friends. Like if I'm sitting in a group of people, I had one friend, he used to do this. You go, oh, your phone just rang, so-and-so called, and he'd like yell it out to the room. To whomever's phone went off. Or you're getting a text, Joe Smith says, that's somebody's private device. I could not believe that person did that. I'm no longer friends with that person, but I thought that was so tacky. And I realized with a person like that around, it could end up being they're blowing a surprise for someone you're planning in the room. Who knows what it could be? That's just over the line. I don't like people messing with each other's phones. I think it's very private. I think that you could have a Christmas list up on your phone, ready to buy for that person, right? But I don't have a passcode on my phone, because anything like that I used to keep for my daughter, I used to keep on my iPad. So I did have a passcode on my iPad, and I told her why. I said, Mommy opens a lot of different tabs. I'm looking up things to buy you for Christmas or your birthday. You don't know a trip I'm planning, a surprise. That I do on my iPad. I sit with a bigger keyboard, and that's what I do. So I had a lock on that. But on my phone, I'm not hiding anything. I don't do anything wrong. Yeah. So if they give you their phone, let me get to the point. That move does convince some. And it keeps you there. For a while, it did me, again, I think of that and I'm disgusted at myself. I cringe. I could be sick with how much toil and ridiculousness went into all of that. I think of it now and I cringe at myself because you don't want to be in that spot. But you are. Okay, so you're in it. And you got to be careful when dissecting the phone business. The entire topic is a juicy one because we're dealing with a few issues in one issue. I'm mortified that I got to any kind of point with the phone. I'm not a believer of living that way. But and inherent in the fact that you're doing it is the first sign that there's a problem. But the fact that you're feeling like you have to be in their phone is a bad sign. I cringe at myself, because as obvious as it is, that already is the worst sign. That I felt I had to do that I allowed him to try to appease me in that way. Take my passcode, have my phone. Am I that? I mean, honestly. The fact that there's always going to be stuff in their phone, they just know how to hide it or delete it before they give you their phone, is always going to be a thing that they do. They know how to manipulate it so that they look innocent. Just because they give you their phone doesn't mean a thing. And again, I know I'm back and forth playing tennis between two topics, because I think of it every time. You don't want to be that person. Okay, but they give you their phone and they try to tell you, okay, here's my passcode, and you can look into it anytime you want, as a show of honesty. They can delete things. They can delete pictures. The fact that you're not finding stuff doesn't mean there's not stuff in it. I feel like people don't understand how, I don't think that people realize before they learn it the hard way, how much effort the narcissist will go to play this game. Sure, they'll give you your phone, but they sat outside for 15 minutes or in a parking lot up the street deleting chats, deleting pictures. Go into deleted pictures. That's where I found pictures of my narcissist that he tried to delete and hide from me, and that's how I found out one of the big, huge disaster dates. This would be last summer now. Here, take my phone. We were on that kind of thing. He had already done a million things wrong. Sure enough. And it's like he didn't know that he had to delete a picture and go into deleted because then it goes into a file called deleted pictures. Then you have to delete again. He learned that. I bet he does it now. He's probably better at manipulating his phone with his supply now than he was with me. Because I was like a PI. Again, I vomit at that. At myself. Because it's so evident to me now that alone, feeling like you have to be at that point isn't it over? I mean, could you ever get past the point of, and you know what I mean, when you're obsessed with somebody's phone and trying to find the truth, that's where you look, the phone. Maybe some of you look on a computer. He didn't have a computer. We do the phone. That's what you do. It gets you crazy. And you do things like pick up someone's phone, I don't pick up people's phones. Pick up someone's phone. I don't pick up my daughter's phone. I don't snoop. When I was married to a very honest guy. I have a very honest brother. I have very honest parent. I'm not surrounded by dishonesty that my mind goes to somebody's lying. Let me pick up their phone and check on them. But after the first few things happened, practically in front of me, phones are ringing, text. Before you know it, he's like, well, I'll give you my phone. And then boom, now you're the person that looks in it. And I think that even if you check everything, every minute of every day, and you finding nothing, first, wow, because that means he's continually deleting a lot of things. Don't think it means he's not living that way. Or maybe he's behaving for 2 weeks. I mean, if you find nothing on his phone, like the last conversation listed on his list of recent phone conversations is from a month and a half ago with his cousin. So he leaves that because that's innocent, but that's the last conversation. If there's nothing on his phone, that's suspect too. Oh, really? You've not had one phone conversation in the last week? He's deleting everything, so there's nothing. That can be something that they do that you should look for. If you're in the position, the horrible position that you're doing the phone. I'd like to think that if I ever felt the need to get to that point again, I'd say, you know what, dude, obviously I don't trust you and we're over. Goodbye. Just treat it like a normal breakup. Don't let there be a back and forth. I would recognize it like that. I hope I would recognize a narcissist before I got to that point. But even if I got into a relationship with a non-disordered person, if you ever get to the point that you feel you need to look in someone's phone, oh my God. No, I'm not living like that. Even if they say, I'm going to share my location with you. Well, it doesn't take a genius. I can figure that out. You can pay someone. I said this before in another video. You can pay someone, a bartender, $100 to hold your phone for 6 hours. To text back as you. And he could take off with somebody else. I mean, I can get that creative sitting here thinking of things. What do you think they can do? Sharing their location means nothing. Showing you their phone means nothing. There's other apps in which you can have chats. So their text might look clean, but they might have another whole app in which they're having a chat. They put code names for the numbers in their contacts. So it might say Lenny, and in his mind, he knows it's Lissa. You could never know. Because you look at a narcissist phone, there's thousands of contacts. They don't delete anybody. My phone has I've never counted, probably under 50, under 30. I keep who I call. I certainly don't have every number I've ever gotten in my phone of even friends. If I don't talk to people or they're out of my life now, there's been a thing and we no longer, the phone's out. The narcissist doesn't. So you would never know. There's thousands of contacts usually. And they're hidden away. And maybe they put the city name next to it or food they remind the person of, or they'll make it sound benevolent. What are you going to do? Go through and call and look at every single contact? There's so much room for it. And I got to say too, this is the least of the problems is the phone. If you are at this point a level of distrust with the phone, people have been two-faced for hundreds of years before the cell phone ever existed, before the phone ever existed, before Pony Express mail existed. Disloyalty, cheating, duplicitous people, that's been around since humans. They'll figure out a way. They could give you their phone. They will figure out a way. Morse code, messenger pigeon, covert ninjas. They'll get messages to the people they want when they want. And even if, like I said, you're finding nothing and they're behaving. But I'm going to tell you something. The second you are comfortable and convinced and he sees, okay, she's over it. She's calm now. She seems relaxed. All right, okay, then he gets his phone. Boom, he's going to falter again. And he's going to go back to the way he was. And he's going to hope now that you're convinced. And he's going to scrub his phone clean before he gives it to you at the end of every day. He's going to block certain numbers so that psycho people that are on his supply list or potential supply list or ex-supply list, the phone doesn't ring if they try to reach him. He knows what he's doing. And I think we miss it as we become obsessed with finding something, or if we did learn something and now we're trying to look for something on their phone, the aftermath of dealing with said find. The bigger picture is that we were there in the first place. We get very wrapped up in finding this truth, in dealing with this truth, and being so sad, and help me through this, and why did you do this to us, and what does this mean to you, and are you kidding me, and no, it's nothing, honey, I promise I won't do it again. It's all about the phone. They'll show you from now on. That's how they're going to prove to you. We forget the bigger picture is that we had enough happen to us. We did learn enough that we were in that place. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think about that. I'm like, I did learn enough that I was in that crazy place of having to look at the phone. That is the problem. It's not a place I wish to reside. Ever. At all. Ever. And I venture to come right out loud and say, once we get there, it's over. I mean, isn't it? How could you ever, is it possible to ever be at a place of peace and comfort and trust with someone where you are at the point that there's an obsession here with the phone, and it becomes a part of everyone's life because that's how they prove their whereabouts, right? It's not the phone's fault. They've been doing this since horse and buggy. This is not the phone's fault. They can scrub the phone. So just because they give you their phone, it doesn't mean a thing. I want to make sure that you're clear on that. That is a gesture a lot of them use. It doesn't mean anything. And I hope this is just a tip. There's a million things they can do. If you can think it up, so can they. I've given you a handful of things that they can do to scrub a phone or keep it looking inactive or make you believe in them. So I just want you to pay attention to that because a lot of girls and guys, I suppose, either, right? Guys get swayed. Oh, here, take my phone. I thought it was like, I even knew, though. I felt it in my bones. I was like, this is not a place I like to be at all. I was very uncomfortable with myself. I couldn't help myself, but I would be in front of him doing it. It wasn't spying. He gave it to me. But then I found myself, oh yeah, he's sleeping. Let me spend some more time on it. Because he gave me the code. I would be like searching for things. By then he'd learned and he scrubbed things and he was trying to behave. And so that didn't mean anything to me either because all I did was get frustrated knowing that the hammer's going to come down eventually. I didn't think, oh, he's being so good. I thought he's been more creative than I can find right now, or he's just taking a breather from the narcissistic way of life right now. I still knew it would happen again, and it did. But I was convincing myself it was okay to go through the phone. What was I looking for? To torture myself? You don't want the truth. Anything you find is not going to be good. It's not less than what you think. So why do we do it? Once we get there, I'm telling you, you should just get out. He gives you your phone, it means nothing. And if you're at that point that he's feeling like, and you're feeling like you'll take that phone, look at what you're in. Look at what you're in.